Hello everybody, this is Christina from craftmuse, and today I'm here for a tutorial for an adorable little Loomigurumi monkey. So here's what we're going to be making today. This is the girl version. I'm going to be making a boy today, and I've made her my new hook holder. So I just attached her little arms so that she could sit up and hold the hook. So you guys can do whatever you want. You can put something else in her arms, like a banana, or you don't even have to attach the arms together. You can just leave them normal. But here's a little bit of a look of her. I used safety eyes for this one, and I'm going to be doing the same thing using the 8mm safety eyes, which I got on Etsy. And then for the cheeks, I used I just used real blush for the cheeks because I can't find my hair chalk that I've been using. And then I added a little bow to her hair, and then she's also got like a little tail that actually curled on its own. So it's cute. Small, so it doesn't take a ton of bands. And I'm not sure how much time this is going to take, so I guess we'll see. I'm using two different colors, so I've got the inner face color here, which I used white, and then I used the opaque pink for the main body color. Today I'm going to be using the Burgandy from Rainbow Loom, and then a gray blue that I got from some store online that was selling this color, which I really liked. So that's going to be my boy version of this. I'll have an exact band count in the description box below if you want to check that out before we get started. And yeah, so let's get started on this. You also need some polyfill and then just one hook, either a crochet hook or your Rainbow Loom hook. Either one will work just fine. And then I'm using a C-clip for a stitch marker. So before we get started, I did write out some cards. My first one that I wanted to show you was in my cards that I'm going to be showing, it's either going to say MC or AC for colors, because we will have to do a few color changes in this. And so for MC, it's going to be the main color. So like for the this one here, pink was my main color. So anytime you see MC, you'll be using the main body color. And then AC is the accent color, and that's where I used it for the face and like the little paws. I put a little stripe here in the middle, and that's totally optional. If you don't want to add the stripe, you don't have to. And then the top of the feet, and then the tip of the tail. So that's where I use the accent color. So if you can remember that, MC main color, AC accent color. And for those of you who are not completely familiar with Loomigurumi, here's some stitch abbreviations here that you will see on my cue cards. We've got SC, which stands for a single crochet. We've got an increase, INC, which stands for increase, which is actually two single crochets in the same stitch. And then DEC stands for decrease, which means to stitch together the two stitches. So whenever you see those, I mean, I'll be explaining it to you anyways, but you know, just in case you guys get confused. So the first thing that we want to start out with in this tutorial are the ears. So here's my card for that. We're going to need to make two. I've already made one ear here, so I'll be making one of them with you. So we're starting with the accent color. So for me, that's blue. Let me grab a C-clip because mine disappeared. It's a good thing I have like a never-ending supply of these. Oh, and one thing that I would suggest you use for this tutorial when we sew on the head is a yarn needle. So if you don't have a yarn needle, you can still use your hook, and I will be showing you how to do a few stitches with the hook, but I am going to just end up using my yarn needle because all of these parts are going to be closed, so we're just stitching on the head to the body. So it gets a little bit difficult with the hook, but it can be done. I did this one with the hook, but just for it to be more precise, I'm going to use the yarn needle. It makes it a lot easier too. So the first thing that we want to start with is round one, which is going to be a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I'm starting off with my accent color, and I'm using the gray blue. So I'm going to wrap my band around my hook twice to create 3 loops. I'm going to take a band and I pull this cap band onto the center of this band, and then I'm going to reclaim this end onto my hook. Now if you guys already know how to do this, feel free to jump ahead and follow the card here. I'm just trying to explain a little bit more for those of you who aren't completely familiar with Loomigurumi. So once you've got this on your hook, you're going to be moving this band here underneath this one. So I just usually slide it under. So you just basically created like a slip knot. So now what I want to do is go back into my capping band. So I'm making sure I'm going through all those 3 loops there. And I'm going to take another band. I'm going to pull it through the capping band only and reclaim the other end of that band onto my hook. So now I have 3 bands on 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to take this band here underneath these 2 here. So I'm just going to slide those under. I'm going to go back through my capping band and pull up another band, repeating the same step. So through the capping band only, reclaim, and then pull this band underneath those 2. So that was 3. We need to add 3 more. So I'm going to go back in, going through my capping band only, reclaiming, and sliding under those 2. So that was 4. Here's 5, and then I need 1 more. And here's 6. So what we've just created is what we call a magic ring, and to make sure you have the correct amount of stitches, you're just going to want to count, which are these little V-shaped things here. So we'll start with the first one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the one that's on your hook is also counted as a stitch, so that's number 6. So now we'll take our C-clip or your stitch marker and we'll stick it in the band that's on our hook, just to mark off our spot so we know when to stop with our second round. So for round number 2, we're going to be doing an increase around for 12, so that we end up with 12 stitches. And this is an AC, so we're still working with our accent color. So I'm going to go into my first stitch here. So an increase is a single crochet in each, 2 single crochets in each stitch. So here's my first one. I'll just bring the band through my stitch, reclaim onto my hook, and then just like with the magic ring, I'm going to bring this band through these 2 here. I'm going to go back into that same stitch and do the same thing. So another single crochet. Okay, now I'm moving on to stitch number 2. So this is also an increase. We're increasing all the way around in our 6 stitches. So there's 1 single crochet, going back into that stitch, and here's my second single crochet. Now I'm on to stitch 3. I'm going to do my 2 single crochets in that stitch. There's 1, and there's 2. There's stitch number 4 now. So there's 1, and then I need to put 1 more in there. And there's 2. I'm going to move on to stitch number 5. There's 1. Going back into number 5. And there's 2. And then my last stitch here is the one with the C-clip in it. I'm just going to take mine out so I can work in it. So I'll go into stitch number 6 and do my 2 single crochets. So there's 1. And there's 2. So I'll take my C-clip and put it into the band that's on my hook. Okay, so now we're on row 3 and we're switching to our main color, and here we're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase, and then we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around so that we end up with 18 stitches. So in order to switch from blue to brown, or whatever colors you're using, I'm going to go into my first stitch here. I'm going to take my first band and I'm going to bring it through all of these loops on my hook. And then I'm going to reclaim the other end onto my hook, and I'm going to bring this band underneath this band here. So I just really created a slip knot. Okay, so that counted as a single crochet. Now we're going to do our increase in our second stitch. So I'll go to my second stitch and I'll do my 2 single crochets in that stitch. So there's 1, and there's 2. Now in my third stitch is going to be a single crochet. So there's 1. My fourth stitch is an increase. There's 1 and 2. The next stitch over will be a single crochet. There's 1. My next stitch over will be an increase. There's 1 and 2. My next stitch over will be a single crochet. So there's 1. My next stitch over will be an increase. There's 1 and 2. Next stitch over will be a single crochet. There's 1. Next stitch over is an increase. There's 1 and 2. Next stitch over, a single crochet. And then my last stitch here is going to be an increase. There's 1 and 2, and now I'm just going to fasten this off. So to do that, I am going to go into my first brown stitch, but we're going to be skipping this the first brown stitch here that kind of veers off, because that's a stitch that was created from doing our color change, but it doesn't count as an actual stitch. So I'm going to go into the next one right next to that one. I'll just put my hook through there. I'll take a main color band and I'll bring it through all of the bands on my hook, reclaim onto my hook, and then tie a slip knot. So that's basically it for the ear. So you need to make 2 of these and then set them aside. So if you want, just pause the video and then make your ears, and then come back when you're done with that and we'll get started on the arms and legs. So for our arms, we're going to need to make 2, and I've already made 1. So this is what it's going to look like, and we're not going to have to stuff these because they are pretty thin. If you want to, you can, but I just don't, because I feel like you've got a better chance of the stuffing showing through more, just because it's so skinny and it holds its shape on its own anyways. So I don't find it necessary to put stuffing in there, but you guys can do whatever you want. So I'll make 1 with you, and then you can pause the video and make your second one. We're going to be starting with our accent color. So for row 1, just like we did with the ear, we're going to start with a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I'm using blue, so I'm going to wrap my band around my hook twice, and I'm going to do my magic ring. So I pulled up my first band. I'm going to go back through the capping band and do my second. Go back through my capping band, do my third. Whoops. Go back through my capping band and do my fourth. Do the capping band. Oops. And then back through my capping band and do my 6th. So after this we should have 6 stitches around. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So I'm going to take my C-clip and place it onto the band on my hook. And so now we can move on to row 2, which is going to be a single crochet followed by an increase all the way around, so that we end up with 9 stitches, and this is in our accent color. So I'll start off in my first stitch with a single crochet. There's one. Now I'm going to move on to my second stitch and do an increase. There's one, and I'm going to go back in there, do another one. My third stitch is going to be a single crochet. My fourth stitch is going to be an increase. My fifth stitch is going to be a single crochet. And then my last stitch is going to be an increase. So there's 1 and 2. So now we should have a total of 9 stitches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to stick my C-clip back in there. So now for row 3, we're going to do a decrease now. So we're going to start off with a single crochet followed by a decrease. We're going to repeat that all the way around so that we end up again with our 6 stitches that we started off with. So I'll go into my first stitch to do my single crochet. Now for a decrease, I'm going to go into my next stitch over. So I'm just going to pick up the front loop of that stitch only. And then I'm also going to go right next to that one and pick up the front loop of that stitch only. I'll take a band, pull it through these first 2 loops on my hook only, and reclaim, and then just do my crochet. So that's a decrease. So now I'm going to go back to my single crochets. So there's 1. Then my next stitch over is going to be a decrease, so I'll pick up the front loop only, and then again for the next stitch over. Bring my band through the first 2 loops only, reclaim onto my hook, and crochet. And then I'm going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. I'm going to take my C-clip out, and I'm going to be ending with a decrease. So pick up one and then the other, and pull your band through the first 2 only, and crochet. So this is what we've got now. It's like a little tiny ball. Stick your C-clip back in here. Now I know it can be kind of hard to see what you're doing when you're crocheting around such a small area. So take your time when you do this so you don't skip any stitches, or so that you end up with the right count for each row around. So stretch it apart, do what you need to so that you can see each of the stitches in this little area that we're working with. So now for row 4 through 8, which is a total of 5 rounds, we're just going to single crochet around the 6 stitches. So for each round we're keeping our 6 stitches, and we're doing body color. I accidentally said MC here. Oh wait, we're doing main color. I accidentally said body color here, but I'm at main color. Same thing. But so here you want to keep track of how many rounds you do, because you can lose track easily and you don't want to end up with one longer arm and one short arm. So just use your bands, like place the band to the side to keep track of where you're at. So I'm going to start off with my first round. So I'll go into my first stitch, and we're switching to our main color, so we're going to do our color change. So I'll take my brown band and bring it through all of the stitches on my hook, all the loops on my hook. I'll reclaim, and then I'll do like my slip knot. Okay, so that was one. And I'm just going to keep going around with single crochets now. So there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, and then my last one here is 6. I'm just going to keep my C-clip out. You guys can keep using yours. Just keep replacing it up here every time you do a row around. Okay, so I'm going to mark off that was one row. Okay, so let's go on to row number 2. Stretch it out if you have to. Again, since we did a color change, we're going to be skipping this weird stitch here and going into the next stitch from that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one more. 6. I'm going to mark that one off. So I need to do 3 more rows around. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That was 3. Just keep going around. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then I need to do one more. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's my arm, and I'm just going to go into my next stitch over, take a brown band or your main color band, bring it through all the loops on your hook, and then tie that into a slip knot. And then you can round this bottom out a little bit. I just push it a little bit, just center, make sure my little magic ring is in the center. Since we're not stuffing it, we need to shape it on our own, of course. It'll probably, you know, fall out of place eventually, but it's very simple to fix. So I've got my 2 arms, and go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll make our legs. Okay, so for our legs, again, we're going to be needing to make 2. I got tongue-tied there. We're going to be starting with our accent color. I've already made 1, so the legs are a little bit different than the arms. This is a leg and this is an arm. They're a little bit shorter, and then I used less blue, use less of the accent color in the leg compared to the arms. So I'll do one with you, and then you can pause the video and make the other one. So again, start off with your accent color, unless you're making like a solid monkey. Okay, so we're going to start off with our magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So for row 1, I'm going to have to be doing a lot of magic rings here. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we should have 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put your C-clip in there. Okay, so just like we did for the arms, our row 2 is going to be a single crochet followed by an increase all the way around, so that we end up with 9 stitches, and this is still in our accent color. So I'll start off with a single crochet. Just gonna move some of these over here. So there's a single crochet. My next stitch over will be an increase. So there's 1. Whoops. 2. Next stitch will be a single crochet. Next stitch over will be an increase. Next stitch over will be a single crochet. And our next and last stitch will be an increase. So now here we should have 9 stitches. So I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so now we're going to be switching to our main color. So for row 3, we're doing our decrease now, so that we go back to 6 stitches. So it'll be a single crochet followed by a decrease, repeat that all the way around, end up with 6 stitches, and again in the main color. So we need to do our color change, so we'll go into our first stitch here, take our main color and pull it through all the bands on your hook, and do your slip knot, a loose one. Kind of knocked that out of the way. Okay, so that was my single crochet, and now I'm going to be doing a decrease. So I'll pick up the front loop only of my next stitch and the front loop of the stitch next to that, take a body color band and bring it through the first 2 loops only, reclaim, and do my crochet. Now I'm going to go back to my single crochet, and I'm going to do a decrease, I'm going to do a single crochet. I will say that working in smaller rounds is a lot more difficult than when you're working in a larger round. So if you're not used to it, just take your time and you guys will get the hang of it. Okay, and then my last 2 stitches is going to be a decrease. Okay, so this is what we've got here, and now for row 4 through 9 we're just going to single crochet around in the 6 stitches with our main color, and we're going to do that for 6 rounds. So again, make sure that you are marking off your rounds after you complete one. So we'll just start with our single crochet, and again we are going to need to skip our weird first main color stitch here, and just use the one right next to that to start with. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that was 1 round. And just keep repeating that all the way around until you end up with 6 rows around. So that was 2. Oops. 3. Keep falling off of my hook. Okay, that was 4, and I need to do 2 more. And then I'll go again. Oops. Make sure when you're going in through your stitches, because since we're doing it in a smaller area, sometimes your hook will want to pick up more than just, it will want to pick up like other bands, so just be careful. That's why I kind of like, when I go through the stitch, I kind of tug it up a little bit just to make sure that I'm just in the stitch and not grabbing other bands. And I just lost count where it was. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was my last row around, and now I'm going to go in through my next stitch over and just fasten this off like I did with the arms. So I'll take this through all the loops on my hook tie a slip knot, just like that. And then just kind of fix the shape up, round it up a little bit better. Okay, so we have our, well, I have my 2 legs. Go ahead and pause the video to make your second one. And then, let's see, we'll do get the little tail out of the way. And then we'll start on the body and the head. So for the tail, this isn't, I mean, it's on the hook, but it's not like Loomigurumi. So let's see, and it's going to be optional for you for how many double banded bands you want to use. I think I don't even know how many I use these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyways, just make it the length you want to make it. The longer you make it, the easier it will if you want it to like curl around. And then you can also bring it up to the front and like rest it on the little arms, or you know, something, whatever you guys want to do. This is optional. Make a short tail, make a long tail, whatever you want. So I started off with my accent color, which for me is blue, and I'm going to wrap it around my hook 4 times or 3 times. So there's 1, there's 2, and then there is 3. Once I do that, I'm just going to start pulling double looped bands through. So I'll pull all of this cap band onto my main color bands, if I can get it. Okay, and then just reclaim the end onto your hook. Center it as much as possible. Now, it doesn't need to be, you know, perfect, because you do want your tail to have a little curl to it. So if it's not centered perfectly, that's totally fine, because that's what's going to give it the curl, is just, you know, this is the one time that you don't need things centered. Okay, so then you just keep doing that. You're just going to take as many bands as you want to make the length that you want, and just double loop all of your bands, and then just keep making a chain. Just keep making a chain, yeah, that's all. So I've got 3. I'll just count just in case you guys want to make it as long as mine. I'm not sure. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Whoops. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. As you can see, mine is already starting to curl up. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. I think I'll do a total of 30. 21. 22. 3, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and I'll do one more. And 30. Set that down for a moment. Take 2 of your main color bands, and we're going to make these, we're going to slip knot these 2 together. So if you want to do it on your hook, just stick your first band onto your hook, just like that. Take your other band and slide this band onto it. Reclaim the other end onto your hook, and then just do a slip knot. Just like that. And then what we want to do is just pull this tail onto this band here. And the reason why we're using 2 bands is so that it will be easier, because we're just going to pull both of these ends onto the body, and then we can just tie it into a knot to secure it onto the body. Now, if your tail isn't curling the way you want it to, like let's say I wanted to add a little bit more of a curve here, I would just go into the stitch and pull it up because I want it to curve more, and then just kind of loosen it back up a little bit. So mine's kind of like a little spiral, and I'm okay with that. So, you know, just work it however you want your tail to look. So, and then we can just set this aside for now. And then we can start on the monkey. I'm trying to think if we should do the face or the body first. And I think we're going to do the face, because that's like my favorite part, is the face. Okay, so for the head, there are going to be a few color changes in this area up here. You can't really see it because the hair is covering it, but I kind of wanted it to, I don't know, not an exact heart shape, but a little bit, but it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. But I'm going to keep it, so just follow along with me, and I'll show you where we're going to change the colors we're going to start off with the accent color, and then we'll be gradually switching to the main body color. So just follow along with me, and I'll show you where we do that. So again, we're starting with our accent color. So for me, it's blue. So for row 1, we are going to start with our magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I'm going to wrap this around my hook twice, and then I'm just going to pull up 6 bands. So there's 1. There's 2. Three. 4. 5. And 6. So you should now have 6 stitches. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'll place my C-clip in the band on my hook. Okay, so for row 2, we are going to be increasing all the way around so that we end up with 12 stitches in our accent color. So let's do that. So we're just going to do an increase in each of the 6 stitches. So there's 1, 2, going on to stitch number 2. There's 1, 2, moving on to stitch number 3. Just 1, 2, moving on to stitch number 4. 1, 2, now I'm on stitch number 5. 1, 2, and then I'm going to take my C-clip out and I'll do my increase in my last stitch here. 1 and 2. So now we should have 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'll put my C-clip in there. So for now, for row 3, we want to do a single crochet followed by an increase all the way around so that we end up with 18 stitches and we're still using our accent color. So we'll start off with a single crochet, and then in stitch number 2 this will be an increase. Stitch number 3 will be a single crochet. Stitch number 4 will be an increase. Five will be a single. 6 will be an increase. 7 will be a single. 8 will be an increase. 9 will be a single. 10 will be an increase. 11 will be a single. Oops. And then our last stitch will be an increase. Okay, so after this you should have 18. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So for row 4, we want to increase again so that we end up with 24 stitches. So we're going to be doing a single crochet, and then a single crochet, and then an increase. We're going to repeat that pattern all the way around so that we end up with 24 stitches. And this is also where we're going to start switching a little bit to our main color. Our main color is going to be in our last 3 stitches of this round. So just follow along with me and I will help you with that. So we'll start off with our single crochet, and then our next one will be a single crochet. The third stitch will be an increase. Fourth stitch will be a single. Fifth stitch will be a single. Sixth stitch will be an increase. Gosh, I'm having like always have these problems. 7th stitch will be a single, 8th stitch a single, 9th stitch will be an increase, 10th stitch will be a single, 11 is a single, 12 is an increase, 13 single, 14 is a single, 15 is an increase, 'kay, and then these last 3 stitches will be in our main color. So I'll go in through my 16th stitch, take my main color band, bring it through all the loops on my hook, reclaim and do a slip knot. So that was a single. My 17th stitch will also be a single in my main color, and then I'll end in my last stitch with an increase in my main color. Okay, replace your C-clip. And now we should have a total of 24 stitches around. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm skipping this weird stitch that doesn't count as one. So 21, 22, 23, and 24. So let's go to our next card. So for row 5, we're just going to be doing a single crochet around. So we're switching back to our accent color for the first 19 stitches, and then we're going to switch over to our main color for the last 5 stitches, and we're still going to have the 24 stitches. So nothing special here except for the color change, and just single crochets all the way around. So I'm going to go into my first stitch, and I'm starting with my accent color, so I got to do my color change back. So that was 1. I want to do 19 of these. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, oops, 17, 18, and 19. And now I'm going to be switching over to my main color for the last 5 stitches. So I'll go into my next stitch, I'll take my main body color, bring it through all the loops on my hook, do my slip stitch. I'm going to skip this weird brown one here and just keep doing my single crochets until I get to the C-clip. Now it's gonna look odd, like it's not gonna be a perfect circular shape, but I mean it will still be fine. It's just gonna be kind of dented in a little bit, but once we stuff that, it will be fine. That's just from the color change. So I'll take my C-clip out and replace it back in there. So this is what you should have now. So we can go on to the next rows around, and so for this part, for the rest of the head, it's just going to be all the main color from now on. So we'll be, for rows 6 through 9, which is 4 rounds, we're just going to be doing single crochets around in the 24 stitches for the main color only. And then there, after we finish those rounds, we're going to stop. We'll temporarily fasten off so that we can add our eyes, our ears, well, the nose. So we'll do all that before we start decreasing and closing the head off. Okay, so to start off our rows around, we're going to be skipping this blue stitch here where we did our color change in our last round. So we'll go into the next stitch over. And again, this is all main color, so I'm just going to go all the way around for a total of 4 rounds with single crochets. I'm not quite sure how this is going to end up looking with this color combo, but hopefully it will turn out okay. So once I get up here where I did my color change from the last round, again, don't forget to skip that first stitch in brown because that doesn't count. So just totally skip over that one. And just keep going around to your C-clip. Luckily, there aren't too many color changes in this design, so. Okay, so I've reached my last stitch. I'm going to replace my C-clip up here. Okay, so that was 1 row. So I'm just going to mark that off. We need to do 3 more rows around with our single crochets. So go ahead and do that, pause the video, finish up your rounds. So you need to do 3 more, and then meet me back here when you're finished with that. Alright, so I've completed my additional 3 rows around. So now I'm going to go into my next stitch over, and I'm just going to tie off for now. So I'll just stick my band through all the loops on my hook, and then just do a slip knot. And this will just hold my place until I'm finished adding the features onto the face. Okay, so this is where you're going to need your eyes, and then you'll need some sort, I don't know, whatever color you guys want to use for your nose. I'm going to use a light pink for my nose from the Skin Tone pack of Rainbow Loom. We're also going to be adding our ears here. So you'll need your eyes, your ears, and your nose color bands. Okay, so let's start out by placing our eyes, and I'm just going to show you real quick, if you don't have the safety eyes, which many people don't, you can go ahead and use the pony beads. Just place a whatever color band that you used for the inner part of the face, just stick a band through your pony bead. This one's a 9mm bead, just the regular size that you can get from the craft stores. And what you would do is add it to whatever area in the face that you wanted to add it to. So let's say I wanted to put it here. I would bring one band through one side of the face. If I can get it through, having issues here. Okay. And then you'd grab the other side, so go through the other side somewhere in the face and bring it through, and then just flip it inside out and grab your little ends here. Oh no, that one's disappearing. It's going back to the other side. Okay, so you just grab both ends onto your hook, and then you could just bring one of the first loop through this one, just like that, and then go in through a stitch in the face, just like 2 stitches in the face on the inner part only, and then you just grab the same color as your inner face color, bring the band through all the loops on your hook, and then just tie that off with a slip knot. So I just did mine really loosely because I'm going to be using the safety eyes for it. But these work as well. And if you don't have either one of these, the safety eyes or the beads, you can also use wrap bands. And for that, you would just do the same process that I did with the bead. But you would use, I would say maybe 2. Like say you want to do brown, I'm using brown because that's just near me, but if you want to use black, go ahead. You just wrap it around your hook once, grab all the ends of those bands and wrap them around again. Take your inner color band and bring all of these onto that band. Slide it towards the center and then just use this as an eye. So you can either use 2 bands together or 1, whatever, it's your preference. But like I said before, I'm using the safety eyes, and mine are the 8mm. I'm sure the 6mm would look well too, because I'm not sure how easy it is to find these 8mm. What I've seen at Joann's are normally like the 6mm and the 12mm. I don't know if I've seen the 8mm, but I got these off of Etsy, but you can order them on Amazon, eBay, check your craft stores, I don't know. But the eye size is your preference. This is just what I prefer to use. And so I'm going to use this first magic ring as kind of a reference of where I want to put my eyes. So I want to place my eyes on either side of the magic ring, and I want to try and get them spaced as evenly as possible. So you should be able to see your magic ring. It's that perfect little circle in the center, and just place your eyes however you want. Let me see what I did for this one. See, this one I placed a little bit closer instead of further away. This head looks bigger for some reason. Oh well. So I think I'm going to keep my eyes here. So if you're using the safety eyes, just stick your eyes where you want them to be, and then just snap these washers into place till you hear click. Sometimes these are, there we go, difficult to get on, but okay. And when you're placing your eyes, make sure you've got this part here where it where the brown kind of dips into the blue. That's the top of your head. Okay, now we can start making our nose. And I'm going to take my nose color bands and slide one onto my hook. And I'm just going to slip knot these together. So I'll take another band, I'll slide the one onto my hook onto the band and reclaim, and then just do a slip knot. Just like that. And I'm going to do 2 more, so I'm going to just add 2 more to this. You can use your hook, I'm just going to use my fingers. And if you've got safety noses, even better, but I don't have any at the moment. So my nose is going to go right at the bottom of my magic ring. So here's my magic ring, and I just want to put it right here. So I'm going to use this stitch, my stitch that's in the center bottom in my magic ring right here. I'm going to go on both of these sides and start making my nose there. So I'll go in through one side. I'll bring my nose color band down and through. So this band is on one side of this center, and then I'm going to go up through the stitch right next to it and bring the other band down. And do this however you want. You can make your nose bigger, you can make it small. Like mine's going to be pretty small, but you can make it bigger if you want. So I've got a little line there. Now I want to like add to it a little bit, so I'm going to go in through the top of this stitch over here. So I'm going to go in through there. I'm going to grab the band, not the band that's closest to my hook. I'm grabbing the band opposite, right across from my hook, and I'm going to bring that up and through. So it made a line on the inside. Now I'm going to go in through this hole here with my hook. So I'm going in through the face, and I'm going to bring this band down. Just like that. And I'm going to do this process one more time. But I'll start on the other side. Not that I don't think it really matters, but okay, so got my nose on, and once it looks the way you want it to look, I'm just going to tie these bands off. I'm just going to tie them into a knot, and I really don't need this extra length here, so I'm going to take off this extra band that is slip knotted to it. So let's see, kind of tied it tight. But I just don't want like all these loose bands on the inside, because sometimes they start poking through the face. Alright, so I'll just tie these into a knot. Don't squeeze it too tight because you don't want it to shrink your nose even smaller. So just do it as loosely as possible. Okay. And then you can flip it out. And then just fix up the nose a little bit if you pulled a little too tight. Okay, so there's his little nose. Now we can add our ears. Oh, I think he's going to be cute. Okay. So what we want to do is go, here's your tying off band. Let me get these out of the way. So here's your tying off band. We're going to go on both sides of the tying off band and make another slip knotted band there so that we can use those to tie a knot so that we can secure these on. So I'll just take a band through this one stitch and tie a slip knot. Then I'll go on the opposite side and do the same thing. And you want to do this with both ears so that we have 3 loose bands hanging off of the ear. So I'm going to do the same thing over here with this one. The good part of this is the face is pretty simple to make. It's not very detailed, just because I like to keep it more kawaii looking. So it's definitely not a realistic monkey, but I don't really do realistic animals, so. Okay, so I have my 3 loose bands here. Now you want your ear to be curved like this. I guess curving towards the inside. So that's going to be the front of the ear. The part that's curving in, or like in towards you, is the front. So I'm going to place my ears. I'm not going to place them up here. I'm placing them a little lower. So my middle tying off band is pretty much going to be in line with my eye. So that's how I'm going to determine how I want it to be. And I'm going to be putting it about 1 stitch away from the blue part of the face, from the accent color. So here's my outer edge. I'm probably going to put it in these stitches, right, this row right here. So I'll skip this first row of brown that I have here, and then I'll use this area right here. So that's the second row of the main color that I used. So just go in through your first hole in that row, or wherever you're placing your ears. I'm just giving you a suggestion. Pull 1 band through, and then you'll need to go through another hole in the face and pull your other band through, and then on the other side go through a hole in the face and pull that other band through, so that you've got all 3 of your bands pulled through in separate holes. And then we're simply just going to tie these in knots, and this will give it a good secure hold. Please don't tie your knot too tight, because you don't want to scrunch all your stitches together. So start with 2 of your bands and tie those into a knot. And then I'm just going to take this little end from the knot I just tied and use it to tie off this one here. Okay, so that's what I've got there. My ear is on nice and tight. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm using my second row of my main color, and I'm lining my middle tying off band up with the center of the eye. And then I'm just going to find 2 other separate holes and place these bands through. Oh wait, I used the same hole. Okay, and then I'm just going to tie these off as well, just like we just did. So we've got our 2 ears on. So we're done with the face. So we just have to, you know, start decreasing so we can close it up. And also for this little monkey here, I added hair. So if you want to add hair, let's do that now. And I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to add hair to mine. And then I'll show you at the end how to add cheeks. I'm going to add some little cheeks to Ozzy too, even though he's a boy. I still think he would look cute. But I'll show you how to add hair up here. And then after we're finished with the monkeys, if you want, I'll show you how to make this really simple bow. It's totally simple. And then if you're making a boy, you could add it down here in the neck, which is what I'm going to do. So for hair, I just added like a bunch of little slip knotted bands into the stitches on top of the head. So you just go through some stitches, grab a band, bring it through. Just be gentle with your stitches because you don't want to distort them or stretch them too much. And then just tie a slip knot. And you can add as many as you want. Just make sure when you're tying your slip knot, put your finger over that the knot area and pull. Okay, and then you can just keep adding however many you want. If you're doing the hair, this is optional. I like a little hair on mine. And if you don't add enough now, you can always do it later. But I'm just going to show you now before I forget. So just keep adding your little hairs wherever you want them. Oops. I'm just going a little slow because I'm trying to just be gentle with my stitches. I'm not going to add that much right now because I think you guys get like the idea and understand how to do it, so I'll just add the rest of mine later. But once you add however many hairs you want, you just cut the tops, just snip the loops. And then you can even trim these too if you want, if it looks too long to you. Like this is a little long in the front. So you can just give them a little haircut, make a mess. Okay, so that's my hair for now. And now we can start doing our decrease on his head. So let's get our card back. And we are now on row 10. So this last row here on this card. So what we're going to need to do is a single crochet followed by a decrease so that we end up with 18 stitches. And like I said earlier, the rest of the head is all in the main color, but I did write it down just in case you guys got confused. So if you did tie this off, I'm just going to take out that temporary tying off band. And then I'll pick up my last stitch here, place it on my hook, and then I'll put my C-clip in. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my single crochet. So I'll do a single crochet. My next stitch over will be a single. Okay, and then my next, I'm going to do a decrease. So I'll pick up the first front loop only, and then the one right next to that, bring my bands through these 2 loops only, reclaim, and do my crochet. So now I'm going back to my single crochets. So there's 1, and 2. Now I'm going to do my decrease. Now I'm going back to my single crochets. Just 1, 2, and I'm going to do my decrease. I wonder how long this video is going to be. Okay, I'm going to do a single crochet, single crochet, then a decrease, and then back to my single crochets. So there's 1, 2, and then a decrease, single, single, and then I'll end with a decrease. Just like that. Replace your C-clip and you should have 18 stitches now. So let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Let's get our next card. So for row 11, we're just going to do 1 single crochet. Well, not 1 single crochet, 1 row around in the 18 stitches. So we're just going to do single crochets for 1 round. So I'm wondering, since these blue bands are not rainbow loom, I'm wondering how long they'll last before they start cracking. Like, I do like the way they feel, and they're pretty comparable to the rainbow loom bands by the size, and they pretty much retain their size well when you stretch them out, so I have no problems. Like, they're really nice to use when you're doing Loomigurumi. However, I have no idea how long these bands will last, which is why I try to keep with the rainbow loom, because there's just better quality bands, and I have not had any of my creations fall apart yet. Even like some of my oldest ones that when I first started out looming are still like intact just fine, which is pretty cool considering rubber bands break down after a certain amount of time. Okay, so I'm on my last stitch here for this row. I'm going to take my C-clip out. And then for row 12, now we're going to decrease again. So we're going to do a single crochet followed by a decrease all the way around so that we end up with 12 stitches. So we'll start off with a single, and then we'll do our decrease. Do a single, and then a decrease, single, decrease, single, decrease. Single. Decrease. We'll do a single. And then we will end with our decrease. So now we should have 12 stitches around. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now I can start stuffing the head before we close it up all together. So grab whatever you're using to stuff your monkey with. I'm just using Polyfil. And I am almost finished with this bag of junky Polyfil. Like, I really don't like this Polyfil I'm using. So it took me forever to go through this bag, but I'm almost done. So I can get the nice soft one when I'm done with this one. Now be sure that you don't overstuff your design, because it will start coming out through the holes and it just won't look as good. It will also distort your shape a little bit. So especially like when you use darker color, you can see the stuffing more. So I'm trying to be really careful with this one, because on the pink one, you can't see it as much. But with the darker colors, the Polyfil shows up a little bit better. So just take a little bit at a time. Kind of squish your shape out your face, especially in those areas where we did the color changes in the face. Kind of focus on getting some stuffing in that area. So I'm just using my finger to shape that area. Okay. So once you've got your desired amount of stuffing, we are going to decrease again. And this time for row 13, we're just going to decrease around the entire thing so that we end up with 6 stitches. So we're going to need to do a total of 6 decreases, and make sure you get your stuffing pushed down a little bit on this part, because sometimes the stuffing will want to be included in your crocheting. So I'll start off with my first decrease. So that was 1. Now I'm going to do 2. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Here's number 4. Oops, my card is getting off. Here is number 5. And then we have one more decrease to do. Oh, the bands are all twisted up in this one. Okay, so that was my sixth and final. So keep your band on your hook, and then take another band and slide this one onto that band and reclaim the other end and do a slip knot. And we're just going to use this band here to close up our little gap. So take your tying off band And what we're going to do is go through the top loops of each of the 6 stitches that we just made. So I'll go into the top loop only, and I'll bring this band through it. Now I'll go to my second one, top loop only, bring this through, and just continue that all the way around. If you can't find all 6 stitches, that's fine. This will still close up the gap even if you get, I'd say try to at least find 5. But it'll close up the gap with 4 too. Sometimes they're a little bit hard to spot. So once you've done that, just give it a little tug. I don't even know, hopefully you guys can see it with this color, because this color is pretty dark. So okay, and then what I'm going to do is just go into a stitch right next to my tying off band and bring it through, and I'm going to tie this into a knot. Kind of want to make this as neat as possible, just because it's, you know, you can see it in the design if you're looking at the back of the monkey, because it's not going to be hidden by the body. So then once you've done that, go ahead and go in through the head, and find a spot where you can pull your tying off band through. Try not to grab that polyfill, even though I know it really wants to come out. Even if it does, you can always just get it back in there. Okay. So we have done the head, and I think he's turning out cute, and I'm sure yours are turning out cute too. I hope when you guys share these with me, I'll see some like awesome color combinations and some cute customizations, like a little skirt or something cute. But so here's the head. Now we can start working on the body, and then we can attach all of our stuff together. Alright, so body is pretty simple. It's pretty small, so there's only one color change in it, and that's if you do the stripe. If you're not going to do the stripe, then just stick with the main color throughout the whole thing. But I just gave it a little stripe just so, you know, give it a little accent to it. I don't know what to call it. So we're going to start with our main color. So for row 1, we're going to do our magic ring with 6 stitches in it for the main color. So I'm going to wrap my band around my hook twice, and I'll start my magic ring. So I'll pull up 6 bands through. I'll crochet in 6 bands. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. 4. 5. And 6. So we have 6 stitches in our magic ring. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I will use my C-clip, place it on, and so for row 2 we're going to be doing an increase all the way around so that we end up with 12 stitches. So in each stitch we will do an increase. There's 1, 2. I'm going to go into my second stitch and do my increase. There's 1, and 2. Go into my third stitch. There's 1, 2, go into my 4th stitch, there's 1, 2, go into my 5th stitch, there's 1, 2, and then my last stitch here, do my increase. Okay, so I should have 12 stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'll put my C-clip back in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is do a single crochet. So now we're on row 3. We're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase all the way around so that we end up with 18 stitches, and we're still using our main body color. So I will start off with my single crochet. And then in my 2nd stitch, I will do my increase. My 3rd stitch will be a single crochet. 4th stitch will be an increase. Fifth stitch will be a single. 6th stitch will be an increase. 7th will be a single. 8th will be an increase. 9th stitch will be a single. Our 10th stitch will be an increase. The 11th stitch will be a single. Take out your C-clip. And our 12th stitch will be an increase. Okay, now finishing this, we should have 18 stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Next, for row 4 and 5, so for 2 rows around, we want to do a single crochet in our 18 stitches. And again, this is still in our main body color. So we're just going to do 2 rows around using single crochets only, because we want to keep our 18 stitches. Now if I'm going too fast for you, you can always pause the video. That's one of the reasons why I have these little cards out. Or if I'm going too slow. I've had some people comment that I go too fast, which I don't try to do. I try to, you know, take it at a pretty good pace. But I do it for like video length's sake. My tutorials are already so long as they are, and if I were to go super duper slow, my tutorials would be double that time. And so it was suggested to me that I give notes while I'm doing my tutorials, like, you know, like the little cards. So that was a great idea, and so I figured that would help. So hopefully it is. Alright, so I did 1 row around, and now I'm going to do my 2nd row around. So the attaching of the limbs to this is pretty simple. We're not actually sewing them on, we're just going to attach them just like we did the ears, where we just slip knotted onto it and then tied them into a knot. So that was pretty simple, and that's how I'm going to do it for this tutorial. But the hardest part will be the head. I'm just giving you a warning. But all in all, this is a pretty simple tutorial, I think. There's just a few pieces that you have to make, but I think it's worth it in the end. It's going to be really cute, and I can't wait to see other people's monkeys. Okay, so I've done my 2 rows around. So now we're going to be switching to our accent color. Sounds so fancy, our accent color. I didn't know what to call it, so I just called it accent color. So we're switching. We're still doing just the regular rows around with our single crochets. So we're going to do 2 rows around. So for 6 and 7, we're going to be doing the accent color. So we're just doing single crochets all the way around like we just did. So, but we do need to do our color change to switch into the accent color. So I'll just take one band, just like we did with the face when we color changed. I brought it through all the loops on my hook and did a loose slip knot, and then just continue around with your single crochets until you get to your C-clip. My Rainbow Loom collection is getting out of hand, like all the stuff that I have, because since I started making tutorials, I have to most of the time make 2 of each, you know, once for practice and 1 for the tutorial. And so I don't have anywhere to put all this stuff. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with all of this? I have no idea what to do with it all. So I think I might just start selling them. Like, I'll keep the ones that I really like and then just sell like the extra ones or something. That way it can like help pay for bands, because I am going through double the amount of bands now as well. Oh gosh, but I'm enjoying myself. I'm really liking this. It's making me think outside of the box, which is always good. Making me use my imagination and my creativity. Okay, so that was 1 row. So that was row 6 that we did, and now we're going to do row 7, which is just going to be a row around with the blue, or your accent color. Here where we switched our colors, you're going to have that weird accent color stitch. You're going to skip that and then just move on to your next one. And just do your row around till you get to your C-clip. Do you guys do that a lot? Lose your bands? Happens to me all the time. But at least it's easy to fix. Whereas if you're doing like a loom design, it is like the end of the world when that happens. Oh man, it's so scary sometimes. I really like this color. I wish Rainbow Loom would come out with more opaques. I keep saying that, but I just really, 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 really wish they would, and I'm not the only one. Okay, so that was row 7. So now for 2 rows around, we're going to be using our main body color in, so I'm using my brown for the next 2 rows. We're just going to do single crochets around again, so we're just continuing the same pattern for 2 rows around. So you are going to have to do your color change here if you did your stripe. So I'm just taking my body color and bringing it through and doing my slip knot, and then I'm just going to continue around my 18 stitches. So I get a lot of requests for the Zoom Zooms that I do. So I'm like good on that, like with requests and ideas on what to do for those, because I eventually want to make all of them, which is going to take time. But I have no problems like thinking of what I want to do next for those. It's like I'm trying to think of what I want to do next for Loomigurumi. So if you guys have any ideas, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys would like to see. Okay, so I'm on my last stitch here, and then I'm going to take my C-clip out, and I have another row around. So I'm going to skip my off stitch there and just continue with my single crochets. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see for Loomigurumi, and if you guys do loom designs as well. I'm kind of stuck on that, like on what I should make next. Like my last one was the bunny, so I'm trying to come up with something that is cute but not like a really, really long tutorial. Like, I don't mind doing long tutorials, it's just I just want to know what you guys want to see. So I'd really appreciate it if you would leave me some comments. And then I think I might do like a vote kind of thing, to where people vote, and whatever gets the most votes is what I'll do next, or you know, things like that. So I think that would be a good system. Lost a bunch of those. You guys are probably sick of me seeing me do that over and over and over again. Alright, so that was my last one. Now we're going to start adding our, no, not adding, first we're going to do a decrease. So what we'll do is a single crochet followed by a decrease all the way around, so that we end up with 12 stitches instead of the 18. So I'll go into my first stitch, I'll do my single crochet, and now I'm going to do a decrease. Then I'm going to do a single crochet, and then another decrease, single, decrease, single, decrease, single, decrease, single, then I will end with a decrease, and then what I want to do here is go into my next stitch over and temporarily tie off for now because we want to add our arms and legs and tail before we start closing this little body off. So the part that is open is going to be the top. Of course it will be closed in the end, but right now I left it open so that we can easily tie the body parts on. So get your body parts, you've got your arms, and you need your legs. I think we'll add the legs first, and then we also have to add our tail. So what we want to do with the legs is you have your tying off band. I'm going to go in through so I'm squeezing the top shut. So I'm just going to go in through some of these stitches at the top, just like that. And I'm going to bring this tying off band through, just like that. And then I am going to go through the other side and bring through another band and do a slip knot. So I have two tying off bands on one leg, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I just squeeze the top and then bring this loop through, and then go on the other side, go through some bands at the top and bring a band through with a slip knot. Oops. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to have the tying off band, my temporarily fastening off band in the back, and I'm going to add my legs right here. I don't have like a specific set place that you have to add these, just add them however you want them. Like my monkey is going to be sitting, so if you sit this down, you kind of get an idea of where you want to add your legs. So just hold them where you want them to be, then go in through one side, bring your tying off band through. I'm going to keep it on my hook, and then I'm going to go back in and grab the other tying off band. I went through a different hole. Okay, so now I have both bands on my hook. I'm going to turn this inside out for a moment and then just tie these in and out. Simple as that. It's just getting it in the right spot. And if it didn't work out for you the first time, just go ahead and take it off and do it again. So that works for me. I'm going to do the same thing with my other leg, so just line it up however you want it. And kind of keep in the same row where you put your other leg. just repeat the same process. So I brought it through along with another band. Oh, that's my temporary tying off band. Okay, so I brought it through. I'm keeping it on my hook. Gonna go back in there through a different hole and bring the other tying off band through. Oh no, I lost the other one. Okay, there it is. Okay, and then so you've done that, just tie that off in a knot. Check to see if your legs are where you want them. And even if it's not perfect, your legs will still look fine because you can just splay them out to the side like that and they'll be fine. So we're going to do the same thing with the arms. So I'm just pinching the top, bringing this tying off band through. And then I'm going to go on the other side, get another band, bring it through. And make a slip knot. Do the same thing with your other leg. Go on your other side, grab another tying off band. Keep like messing up on this part. Okay, and again, we are going to be attaching it the same way. Sorry, I had to adjust my body. Okay, so we're going to be doing it the same way we did the legs. Just find a spot where you want your arms to be. Don't use this last row that we just did to pull your bands through. Use the one right below it. And just go through and pull your bands through two separate holes. And then again, you're just going to tie these in a knot. Okay, and then do the same thing with your other arm. Try to put it across your other arm in the same area, kind of. Okay, and then just tie that in a knot. So that was pretty simple. So there's his little body, and then let's add his tail as well. Oh, again, the same way that we've been doing all this. So just lay your tail in the area, try to center it with the body. I know my pink one wasn't centered, so I'm going to try to get it right this time. So you want to bring these loose ends through each side, and you want to go through different holes. I'm going to keep them on my hook just because this is a little bit further down, so it's kind of hard to see. I don't want to lose it. So if it's centered, then you can just turn this inside out a little bit so that you can tie that also into a knot. Okay. That's a little bit high up, but it's okay. Alright, so we got our tail, our legs, and our arms on. Now we can stuff the body. Just take a little bit at a time. Don't go too crazy. And just start filling out his little body. Okay, and I think that is good, so that's good for me. This one also, this little monkey doesn't take much stuffing either, so that's good. I tried to keep his design small because I wanted people to be able to make him, which when you start making bigger designs, not everybody can do it, and so. Okay, so now I'm going to take out my tying off band and pick up where I left off. So we are on our last card and we have one more row around. So we ended up with 12 stitches on our last round, so we're going to do our decrease all the way around so that we end up with 6 stitches. So we'll end up doing 6 decreases all together. So again, push your stuffing down a little bit so that you don't get it caught up in your stitches. So there's one decrease. And then just keep pushing it down as you go. And we are nearing the end and the fun part of this. The attaching of the head. Wait, how many did I do? Like 3, 4? This is 5. I should probably have used my C-clip. And then I have one more. Okay, now once you've done that, leave your band on your hook and make your little slip knot. So add another band to that. Whoops. And to that, add one more band. We are going to use this to stitch on the head, so we don't need to close this part up because we're going to use, the head is going to sit on top of this, like this, so you're not going to see that little opening. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this. We can do this. I'm trying to think if I really want to use my yarn needle because I kind of feel bad for those of you who don't have one. And I don't want you to get confused. Not like it's like rocket science or anything, but I'll just use my hook. And the best advice I can give you is take your time. You don't have to keep up with me. Take your time because it can get messy if you don't take your time. Now you're going to place your head on your body. To how you want it. So I want mine to sit like this. And our tying off band starts off over here on the side, so that's where we're going to start stitching it. But you want to hold your head in place as much as possible. I know it can get kind of hard. So the first thing you need to do is go through a stitch in the head that kind of lines up with this tying off band. So position it how you want it, then lift it a little bit so you can see which stitch you need to go through, and then pull this tying off band through. Okay. So we got our first band in, or our first stitch through. Now keep adjusting the head so that it doesn't move, the position doesn't move. Okay, so our band is coming out of the head now. So now we want to go in through the body, and I'm going in through one of those open stitches, and I'm going to bring that tying off band through. Just like that. So now position your head how you want it, but then you're going to need to lift it so that you can go into that stitch and bring that tying off band up and through. Sorry, I got caught up on something. Okay, kind of check it out to see how it's going to sit. And if you're good with it, then just continue on. So now my band is coming out of the head. Now we need to go up. So, wait, not up. We need to go through the body. So I'm going to go through a stitch in the body. Pull that band through. Just like that. Okay. Check it from the front too to see if it's gonna end up. Just keep, you gotta really just keep checking and adjusting and all that jazz. Okay, so now that it's coming out of the body, we need to go through the head again. So I'm going to find a stitch in the head. Okay, and now I need to go through a stitch in the body. Make sure you're going through 2 loops instead of just 1, just to get a better hold. Except I can't find it. Oh, come on. Okay. I have stuffing coming out, and that's okay if you have stuffing coming out, because we can fix that later. Okay, now we need to go back into the head, so I'm just checking to see how this is turning out in the front. See, my head is like turning off to the side, like he's facing to the side. But I can fix that. I'm just gonna adjust it back. Now I need to go through a stitch in the body. Now I need to go through a stitch in the head. Oh my goodness, I'm like having a really hard time finding a stitch to go through. This is the hardest part, is like when a piece is already closed up. And if your like shape gets all distorted, you can fix it later. Okay, now I need to go through a stitch in the body. And I've already gone all the way around, but I'm just going to do a couple more just to give it a secure hold. So I'm just going to do maybe one more. Although that will make a difference probably, but... Okay, and then once you've gone all the way around and you're happy with how your stitching did, then go ahead and bring it through a stitch in the body, and then you're going to tie this tying off band into a knot. Now again, if you have a yarn needle, this would have been much easier. Okay, so then once you tie it, then you can hide it into the body. Try to go on top of that polyfil. I'm just wrapping around because I don't want the brown to go through the blue. Just because I don't want it to be visible or poke out through the blue. Yay, we're done. He's really cute. He's looking a little bit to the side, but that's okay. So once you're done, go ahead and like shape him up a little bit more if he got a little distorted while you were sewing on his head. I hope you guys got through that okay. I know it's frustrating. Very, very frustrating sometimes. But I'm sure you guys did just fine with it. So just fix him up, add some more hairs to him if you want, or her, whatever you're making. And let's see, I'll show you guys how to make a bow. If you guys want to do a bow for the hair or the neck. For the bow, I'm just taking, I'm using the limited edition bands, so I'm just going to use 4 of them. And just use anything with like 2 pegs. It doesn't have to be your full loom. But like you can use the monster tail, you can use the little cover that comes on your hook, the finger loom, whatever, or you can even use your 2 fingers, but this is just easiest for me. So just take whatever color of the bow you want to use. So I'm doing the mint green, and then you need like a band for the center. So I'll just bring it under your bands, put both ends onto your hook, and then just tie a simple slip knot. Now you're going to carefully take these off. Careful because you want them to be even on both sides. And then you'll just wrap this band around however many times you want. So just like that, and then you can just attach it wherever you want. So you can do it in the hair. I'm going to do it right here on the neck. Or should I do it in the center? I don't know. I think I'll do it off to the side a little bit. So just take like your body color band. Let's see, what did I do it? Okay. I put them all away. I forgot my favorite. And then take the back of your bow, go through the bands in the middle, and then just bring your body color band through. And then wherever you want to stick your bow, like for the girl, I just wrapped it around, like I used this center part, like I left it a little bit loose so I could just wrap it around her hair because she has more hair than he does. But if you're doing a boy, you'll probably need to attach it this way. So I'm just going in through like an area by the neck area, even though he doesn't have a neck. And then I'll just bring each side through some bands. And then do a slip knot. And then I'll hide this in the body. I'll probably end up making like a different bow for him, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of something that you could add. You could also like add like a little skirt if you're making a girl or whatever. And I'm gonna squeeze his little hands together so he can hold something too. So if you want to do that, you can just take the color that you used for your accent color. So you just need one. And then I'm just going to go through a part of the magic ring. So I'm going through the cap band, just one side of it, and then on the other side of the arm as well. And I'm just going to slip knot these together and then hide them. That way, if you decide that you want to take it out later, you can easily do so. So then just to hide this, just go in through the arm and pull this band through the center. Just like that. I don't know what he's going to hold yet, but kind of like their arms closed. So there's a little monkey. Oh yeah, I want to add some cheeks. So if you want to add cheeks, you can use anything really that has color to it. Like today I am using this like all over, like it's like a multi-purpose face thing. Like you can do blush or chapstick or whatever. So basically what I'm trying to say is you can use something powdery or you can use something that's like, you know, not powdery. It's like, you could use paint, chalk, whatever, but I don't know where my chalk is, so I'm just going to dab it on in the area. I'm not sure how much this is really going to show because of the color. But if you used a lighter color, it will show up a lot better. So this is probably pointless for me. But kawaii animals have to have little cheeks, right? So yeah, just dab it on where you'd like it to be. Kind of went crazy over here. So, and that's basically it. So now we've got our two monkey, well, I've got my two monkeys. I've got my little girl and my little boy monkey, and I think they're really cute. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I really hope you guys didn't have too much problems with the attaching of the head. I know it can be frustrating, but I'm sure you guys got through it like I said before. And I just want to thank you guys so much for subscribing and liking my videos and commenting. You guys have been so wonderful to me, and you're making this experience well worth the time and effort put into it. So thank you so much for that. And if you make these little monkeys, please share with me on Instagram at cristina.davis or on my Facebook at craftmuse. I'll leave the links in the description box below if you're not following or haven't liked my page yet, because I really love to see them. That's probably the best part of doing this, is seeing all of your creations. Honestly, it is. So thank you again, and again, don't forget to comment in this video to tell me what you guys would like to see in the future. Like and subscribe to this video if you liked it, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good night. Bye.